No?
Might as well.
Yeah, we can do a Q&A. We're streaming. We're live, by the way.
Hooray!
And I just fixing your names up because we didn't get a guest for today. No guest for today.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's been a bit of a hectic week for everyone.
Yes. And the temperature is going up to Cape Town again.
Oh, and it's raining like a bastard up down here.
Really? Still?
Yeah.
Alright. See, that's
Oh,
why
we're on the front page.
Awesome.
Until the next stream starts.
Yeah.
For the next couple of minutes. Guess who's online? Just us.
Are we?
Yeah.
Is it just us?
Did anybody send out a?
I sent out a tweet, but
No, I meant like onto the group.
what's up, group? Don't think so.
I don't know where my phone is. There it is.
Give me a sec. I'll pop it out there.
Mm. I think just if you can, possibly just edit out the first 5 minutes.
No, yeah. Can we edit these? Do these go in a store somewhere?
You're gonna see why not.
Why? What not?
It stores, and like that's what I mentioned, is if you have to edit it out, you have to open it in a video editor, export it, and I have to do this all tonight.
Mm. And that's how I can actually, I mean, like I can see why, Wednesdays and Sundays would be difficult. I mean, if it was some Wednesdays, if we did find stuff, then great. Ta-da. Fixed.
Hey, we have 1 or 2 people.
We do?
No, one person.
That's me.
Oh, Alec. Hi, Kyle.
That's me. Like I'm on here twice somehow. How's it, Alec?
Yeah. Wasn't you I
Kyle.
was talking about?
My
Dangle.
fingers are freaking sore.
From what?
I was just at a house now and I had to play guitar. And I haven't played guitar in quite a while.
Woe is you.
Huh?
Yeah.
Woe is you.
What was that?
Woe is
Woe
you.
is you.
Woe is you.
Sadness is you.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh, it's HTTPS.
Yes.
What?
What are you talking about?
Sorry, the site.
Yeah, it's always HTTPS. If you log in with any information.
And I spelled the URL wrong on the phone. Can you believe it? Sorry.
Just like, okay. Got it.
Anyways, so
yeah.
For those that is listening in, welcome to the South-Afrifur Pawdcast.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason we're being really lazy today.
Yeah, and a little bit confused at the moment because we didn't have any guests that started listening. But we'll be having a Q&A session tonight, and it's myself, Ivic,
How's it?
and Scratch again.
Hello.
We don't have a guest for today. We tried, but we couldn't find one. So we're just doing the normal Q&A thing, and hope you guys all populate the area so that we can actually have some questions to answer.
Yeah, otherwise I think we're just gonna sit here and shoot the shit for a while if anyone feels like listening in.
Nothing better than shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Unless we're trying to kill this. Yeah, like too bad I'm sober as well. Sober since Sunday. Yeah.
Congrats.
Again. I realized that if I can cut down on my drinking during the week, I can actually make ends meet by the end of the month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm quite well at that.
Not of going out to drink or what?
Yeah, like the thing is that if I stay in to drink or if I go out to drink, the issue is that I'm drinking.
Okay.
And like the thing is that it's, I mean, like I can easily on a podcast, like before and after, finish an entire 6-pack.
Okay.
Wow.
Granted, I start just before, so like maybe an hour before I have like 1 or 2, And then-
Okay.
and then like I have 3 during, because I drink quickly, and then I have like the last one as a nightcap.
Yeah, I did. Scratch already knows this. I actually drink beer really slowly.
I don't drink beers. It's not like I don't drink beers. I drink Hunters and ciders.
Ciders, yeah, it's sweet. Those things you can down like nothing.
I just get heartburn like a bitch though.
Yeah.
It's not just heartburn. With beer, on the other hand, like I remember there was one evening that I'd been imbibing in the beer for a bit. I'd actually been imbibing since like around about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. By 8, I had a hangover.
Yeah, that happens quickly. You can actually have that. Especially, not beer necessarily, but rum does that.
Ugh.
You don't even have to go to sleep and wake up again. Your hangover just starts like in a few hours.
Yeah, while you're still drinking, that's the worst part about it. You kind of sit there going like, now I don't feel any better.
Ugh.
And it's not drunk, you feel the headache. You actually feel the hangover.
Yeah.
I don't get and or do rum. I don't know. There's something really wrong with it.
Yeah, the only reason why you'd normally get like a hunter's heartburn is probably because, you know, if you mix too many alcohols if you mix it with, like, say, on an empty stomach, you're easily going to get heartburn.
Yeah. Or,
I mean, that's rough.
do you know what is the worst heartburn drink? And I actually want to find the person that created this because his intentions was just to give people heartburn.
Mm.
Red Square.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't give you energy, but it doesn't take energy away like alcohol normally does. It balances out.
Yeah.
And it's
But it gives you heartburn like...
and it's damn expensive, but it gives you heartburn.
Yeah.
Again, this is probably the reason why it's more geared towards women as a drink.
Red Square.
Yeah, like remember, like the thing is
And
that
then
it's...
Hunter's energy crap.
Yeah, it's the same thing with that. I mean, like, I wouldn't drink Red Square on like any sort of given day, specifically because I don't really see why I would want to. It just makes it really, really difficult.
Why you want to
Yeah.
get heartburn?
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine you eat a pie, a pepper steak pie, and you drink a Red Square.
Ugh.
Jeez, you'd die. I swear you'd get an ulcer right then and there.
That is the combination for spontaneous combustion.
Basically, yeah. Ugh.
Like,
Getting
but
nauseous
I mean,
just
like,
thinking about it.
especially a pieman's pie.
Oh,
A
fuck.
pieman's pie.
Did you remember Simple Simons in first
That's
year?
exactly what I was talking about.
Ugh,
Simple
shit.
Simons were heartburn on like...
No, dude, Simple Simons had the added benefit of also basically entering you into a lucky draw for botulism, basically.
And not to mention the fact that you were never sure whether you were eating cat or not.
Yeah, or even what
Dog,
the fuck flavor was.
roadkill, whatever they could cut up into tiny little pieces of squares.
Whatever
I
the hell.
swear to
was
goodness, like somebody walked past that pie place like early in the morning and had a good whiff, and there were people who stayed above it as well. These people could swear that they smelled dog food every morning.
I would not be surprised. I mean, Simple Simons was not a super reputable place to eat. It's you only go there when there's nothing else open and you're drunk as hell. That's
Yeah,
the only
they were
they
open
set
till, like,
up 24 hours.
I
yeah.
don't even know this place that you guys are talking about.
So
It's
it
in
was
Stellenbosch.
yeah, it was a small pie shop in Stellenbosch.
But I mean,
Oh.
Simple Simon also exports, or not exports, but like is across the country. If you go to like any Shell, I think they sell Simple Simon pies.
Oh god.
Yeah, but that's what we call garage pies.
No, but it's worse than garage pies. Like, it's not the normal sort of today pies or the pies that you like know and love. It's like, ugh.
You know, it's something that I've never risked eating it. I actually landed in a hospital because of a pie like that.
Nice.
That's
Food-
amazing.
Food poisoning.
A pie named Death. Yeah,
Scratch,
but-
didn't you get like heavy food poisoning off of a McDonald's burger?
No, not McDonald's. I don't eat that on principle.
No, but I still remember that you had a McDonald's burger, you said that the gherkins were bad, and then you had like freaking gastro for like 2 days.
I think that might have been from that magic flavor Chinese place once.
Ah, well, I mean, but this was like years ago. This was still in university.
Yeah, it was, exactly. Hence my reference magic flavor.
I remember Foxy Knacks.
Yeah, those are those like really cheap like tuck shop chips that they sell.
Yes, but you always got the tomato ones at Snoopy's in school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was horrible because when you eat it, you cannot clean your hands properly, and you had to work with your book, and everything was red.
Super red shit. I remember that. And Dungus, what about what's that place called? Remember those just like air puffed MSG chips?
Oh, those things in like bags that were unmarked.
Yeah, the salt and vinegar things. Are just like
that was heartburn on wheels.
Jesus.
Yeah, but you still get those here. There's a shop here that I know about that sells them for very cheap. You still get them here.
Unfortunately.
How about this? How about we talk about the education system?
Okay, why not?
Yeah.
Since it's been in the news, question mark?
Yeah, quite recently, actually. Not to mention the fact that, like, they were actually talking about the fact that if you look at the high dropout rate in most schools, if you look from grade 1 to matric, like this last cycle, these matrics now, we technically only have a 30% pass rate because of the dropouts and the people who are being held out.
Yeah, that people being held out, I think, is like far worse than anything else.
Yeah, but hold on. If you hold a person back in standard 9, right, because of his scores in the exam, I don't see it as being a bad thing. If you know he's not going to be able to make matric. I'm
not so much talking about people being held out by the school system itself. I mean, that's crap, and that's sort of a systemic flaw. It's endemic in the school system in and of itself. And that needs to be reworked. But I'm talking about people who are actually being held out by protests and shit like that, like what's happening in somewhere up in Mpumalanga, I think. That kind of stuff. It's basically people are protesting that they want their own municipality separate of the one that they have currently, and literally they're keeping school kids from getting to school like 3 weeks in a row so far.
Oh, so they literally like they can't go to school.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah. I mean, then there's obviously like things like, I mean, any kind of public protest that has anything to do with the municipality tends to screw around with any kind of public service. I mean, you're looking at cops, you're looking at the mail, you're looking at freaking ambulances. Practically.
Hey, my mail is fucking coming through. Like mail that should have arrived in November.
Yeah, yeah, same. I ordered a book from, I don't know, like early October, I think, and it only actually pitched up like near Christmas or after Christmas even. It might have even been after Christmas, but yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, no, I think they have a backlog, and a lot of mail probably got lost in that situation. In that
very likely
thing, but about the education system, the reason why I say the holding back in standard 9, it's probably nobody knows, grade 11.
Yeah.
The reason for it is, I remember, I don't know if it's still like that, but when I was in school, in matric, you actually kind of just rehashed your grade 11 things, and you did a little bit extra, and that little bit of extra is just like, it's some basic principles, and then you write the exam. Basically, when you write matric record exam, you're writing a grade 11.
Yeah, or when you're writing grade 11, you're writing grade 12.
Yeah, but like I said, there was just a little bit extra that you had to learn, because the exams is like the record exam. Then you didn't flow into it a lot. It wasn't a full year's syllabus. You started doing matric work in grade 11. That's why.
Yeah, specifically because I mean your exams started in like anything from late October to early November.
No, the exams started. I think the record exams started in August.
Huh.
Mm.
Not now. I'm talking about 2004.
Mm.
Yeah, like, how the hell is your school report not yet arrived? Is that the mail, or is that, do you at least know what you have? Are you in the right grade this year? Like, seriously.
What happened?
Yeah, Ivic says he hasn't received the school report yet. I'm hoping it's just because of the mail system being crappy, but, I mean, otherwise...
Yeah, but isn't it the schools that hand those things out anymore?
Well, sometimes they hand it out, sometimes... Oh, physically from the mail, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's actually weird. That's yeah, but that's not due to the freaking post office striking and stuff.
Yeah.
All these bloody strikes, man.
Like, I mean, then again, I would understand why the post office strikes actually happen, specifically because a lot of the time, I mean, the post office makes XYZ amount of money, and it's supposed to be able to be there for things like, raises and whatnot, and they're literally not getting anything. I mean, I can understand, like, that kind of rhetoric. I mean, I remember listening to it on Talk 702 on a couple of occasions, as well as Power FM. And the thing is that they were talking about this, and they were actually considering, it's absolutely, like, not right that this happens. But I mean, speaking about raises and things like that, I mean, if you look at if I looked at my my raise for this year, and then I look at the raise that people in other sectors get, I mean, like, normally, and the thing is that this is a general thing. I mean, like, the normal raise is around about 6 to 8%. It's on a sliding scale between there based on performance and everything like that. Most corporations do this.
That is inflation.
Yeah, just to get you over inflation. But the issue that stands is that most other places and a lot of places with unions will then go for 12 or 10. And the thing is that, I mean, like, 10% is a lot. If you look at most businesses, if you have a very, very large staff grouping, what would happen is that they will give, because they're forced to, they'll give 12%. And then after they've given 12%, the business goes under.
You know why they do that? It's an alignment process. And if a company has a union, normally there is in larger corporations they have levels on which they characterize their staff at. So let's say it's a financial institution. You have like C levels, B levels, and all these. Now you can be an executive in a corporation like that, but you aren't a manager. That is really strange. People don't understand that. You can be executive level, but you're not a manager. You're still actually, like, let's say, a person that deals with finances. That's because of the levels. But the managers tend to make more money, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, because in South Africa, it's very rare that you will see a person working for another person but making less than him. In other countries, it doesn't work that way. So unions are aligning this process according to those levels. If they see that everybody on that same level, right, the average salary is this, right, then the guys getting lower, they'll get raised salaries, while the guys that receive so higher than the inflation rate, they can even get lower. They won't never get an increase, but they can get less than inflation, and then chaos breaks out. Then everybody has to explain this entire thing again, what I just explained now.
I mean, I get that, but the thing is that, I mean, like I said, if you just want to beat inflation, then you go for 6 to 8. Like, the thing is, what's annoying is that you've got people working as, say, I mean, as people who are unqualified, sometimes only semi-skilled. And generally, if you work in a mine, fine, yes, you've got the danger pay and everything like that. But above and beyond the danger pay and the extremely high inflation, which they did say normalized. I mean, I still remember that. I think it was Unplat actually mentioned that if they were going to pay it out, they would pay it out from a low point, and then through the years would then increase that to align everybody onto the right point. Which obviously, because some unions are a bit backward, they don't understand this, and then they don't accept it.
Mentality.
Say again?
Mob mentality.
Yeah, mob mentality. The thing is that they want 12, they get 12. But the thing is that you're also, again, I mean, like, you're looking at housing allowances, you're looking at a whole bunch of stuff that you don't have to pay for because the company ensures that they pay for it. I mean, like, the thing is that especially for companies like that, especially for something like Unplatz, they're not only paying your basic salary, they're paying half of your insurance, half of your life cover, because that's what that's what they need to do. They pay half your life cover, they pay half your medical, and then they also pay half of your pension. And I mean, and that plus housing allowances really, really would break the bank, especially if you had to give a 12% increase per year for over, say, 5,000 employees. And especially if you're not making money while they're striking.
Yeah. It's that sort of weird, like, just a weird logic of we want this company to give us money, but the company can't make money because we're not working, kind of. Yeah, that rhetoric is never really sort of. It doesn't fly from a logical point of view.
Consider school strikes. Consider when teachers go on strike. Most good schools, not all the teachers would go. Even if they were part of the union, they would actually take turns on a day-to-day basis. At least that's what they did in our school.
Oh, good guy. Oh, good guy school workers.
I mean,
people just don't understand. I mean, obviously, like, a lot of these things, how can I say it? Like I said, the mob mentality is strong, and the more people sort of making their voice heard, the better, apparently.
Yeah. Those of you who are going to be listening to this, just note that none of us are financial managers in any way. Financially, like, we're inclined, and we understand what's going on in the financial sectors.
I was a financial manager.
Really?
Sort of. Now I just deal with it in another way. for 3 people.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I manage my money okay, but I'm in no way, shape, or form qualified for this shit.
Yeah, neither am I. No, it's easier when you deal with a little bit, but it gets difficult in small companies because you have so much stuff to absorb that you don't know anything about. But that's why it's always good to get an accountant that won't freaking rip you to pieces because they're expensive. And yeah, it's good when you know a friend.
Yeah, bloody bean counters.
Yeah.
So I just restarted the smooth jazz because it stopped because I forgot to put the loop on.
Okay.
You forgot to put the loop on. Oh yeah.
You're on the loop.
Oh yeah, I'm selling it. I can't sell stuff on this podcast. But you guys should be interested. Ivic, don't you want a 7-string?
Could you give it to me for free?
No.
Then no.
But it's entry level 7-string. Yeah.
If I had to pick up an instrument, it would not be guitar.
Why not?
It would be piano or violin.
Yeah. The piano, violin, or possibly even something like a brass wind instrument, like a trumpet.
Go for try the ocarina.
Go for piano. I like pianos.
I'd love to do piano, but yeah.
And also piano. Once you learn the piano pretty well, you get interested in more instruments as well, because piano is actually just your basic. It's firstly a hell of a lot of octaves, and your basic key note structure. So you learn music on piano. Most people do.
I figured as much. There's a very I don't know if anyone listening knows of like the YouTube animator OniNG. He recently started like a channel where he shows how to produce music, and one of his first videos was like I think it's called something like Musical theory made stupidly easy.
Stupidly easy.
Yeah, it's in the title, and it's actually really interesting, like how he does it. And obviously, he's one of these YouTube guys. He knows how to present this kind of stuff. I think it's well worth the watch if you are interested in music theory in any way.
Yeah, well, one thing that was actually difficult in music theory is just explaining to a person scales.
No, he does it pretty well, I feel.
Because it is tricky. I mean, you can listen to a song and you get a lot of people that can immediately tell you, okay, this song is in A minor.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I have to kind of hum. Even though I work in that industry, so okay, this is that key. Alright, now minor or major, then give me a piano and I'll show you. Okay, it's that scale, alright.
I'm kind of okay with playing by ear, but like I said, I don't really have anything to play on just yet.
Accordion.
Ivic says that
Yeah,
he'd
accordion.
like to play the accordion.
Why specifically the accordion?
I could just imagine you doing Ring of Fire on the accordion. That might be actually interesting.
Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash. That's a very difficult instrument to play. I can't do it. But my uncle can.
Actually, there is a furry who plays the accordion.
There is a
furry that plays the accordion. His name was Howler25 on the South-Afrifur side. He's out in the middle of nowhere. He's a first responder.
Oh, that guy. I think you told me about him once.
Yeah, he actually has a YouTube page with only one thing on it, which was actually very, very interesting to listen to. And I mean, he's very, very good at it. It's pretty intense.
But yeah, the accordion, as interesting as it is, one of those like instruments that I can't like remove the stigma or the stereotype from. Like I remember on Sundays watching stuff like Marker Lost with the family.
Oh yeah.
And I cannot look away anymore. I can't divorce that.
Yeah, but my one uncle is that particular stereotype.
Oh crap!
Much like the entire idea of playing the the fiddle, for that matter. I mean, the fiddle's great to play, but I mean, the thing is that the way that you play it is weird. I mean, and then of course there's the bagpipes and the pan flutes.
No, pan flute makes me nauseous.
Pan flutes. I like the sound of pan flutes.
Not if you're stuck in a car and that's the only tape that's playing and you're driving from Cape Town to Pofadder.
Okay, but
Your Afrikaans just like literally just popped out.
yeah, there was an Afrikaans accent there.
Yeah.
Pofadder.
Yeah, it's only when I like speak of Afrikaans thing that it pops out.
Okay, well, bagpipes is another thing, but you know what the problem is with that? I can't really bring it here, because I can't play it here.
Just, randomly, like, do you have a kilt?
No, I don't.
Buy a kilt, and just randomly start walking outside and say that it's, like, Scotland Day.
Dude, you have no idea how loud those things are.
How long?
How loud?
Bagpipes.
Go to the middle of a field, practice there, and hope that nobody would want to get in within like a 50-meter radius.
But I can play. It's just. Yeah, I'll bring it down from Joburg. But the thing is, it's also I think Jay tried to learn them, and I think he actually broke them. But these things require a specific little tuning mechanism, right? It is like a hair-thick thing that you need to put in between two riekies, what?
Reeds.
Two reeds. And it needs to be tuned exactly. And I can't do it. I'll need to take it for tuning.
Well, I mean, there's a Hoyer in Stellenbosch that I know of, and I know that there's another Hoyer somewhere in Cape Town.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if Marshall Music does it though. I think they're more just mainstream kind of guitars and basses and shit.
Marshall Music. They might. Well, they might actually recommend you in the right place.
At least, yeah.
But
Good day, Baron the Dragon. Sorry that I'm
Yeah.
just quickly doing this. Baron the Dragon has just joined us. Thank you very much for joining us. We are talking about music and musical instruments. If you want to weigh in, please do.
Or it's a Q&A, so if you want to weigh out and have us talk about something else, by all
Just-
means.
Yeah,
by all
please
means,
do give us a
check it out.
question.
Yeah.
The other thing is you also need to tune a piano, and that is also a hell of a process, by the way.
Yeah.
Isn't that like that one sort of typical Google interview questions, like how many piano tuners are there in San Francisco, kind of thing? I think I've heard that like somewhere that's a question that's asked like to sort of test your ability to like make reasonable estimates. Like, okay, there's maybe like how many people in the San Francisco area.
I don't even know how many people live there.
Yeah, like so many pianos, like so many pianos per tuner, so many people making a living off of it, or like doing it like moonlighting or whatever.
Yeah, but another thing with a piano is you can't buy a piano near the coast and bring it up to Johannesburg.
Yeah, because the tuning's all wrong.
No, it's the board at the back is gonna start crumbling up, and even the piano keys. You've seen those old movies where the keys are like weird and not nice
Warped,
and level,
yeah.
warped like that. That is what happens. It's either you moved it from the piano was built and meant for a non-humid environment and it was moved to a humid environment, or it was built and meant for a humid environment and it was moved to a non-humid environment.
All the more reason to just fucking stay in Cape Town.
No,
Buy a piano here and stay there.
and stay there. Yeah, but that happens. Then eventually they can't be tuned, and you need another backboard, and it's just a massive story. It's expensive as well. Just buy if you want to learn piano. Okay, no, if you want to learn to play piano and you're not sure if you will be able to get interested in it, buy a keyboard.
Mm.
You get those for cheap these days.
Or borrow from a friend, because I know quite often that there are people who start and never like do anything with it. So there's always one lying around somewhere if you look hard enough.
Yeah, but you can, if it's one of these MIDI keyboards, you will always actually have something fun that you can do with it. Even if you're not that good of a player, you can actually still fire up some software and record what you're playing or something. You understand?
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of musical things, I saw that there was an interesting musical app, something the stars.
No
Where you've got like 2 or 3 stars that drop out these little raindrops, and you put out vines and different types of vines to make like interesting music.
Oh, I think I might have seen that. I'm completely unsure of what's called though.
Yeah, I remember it visually showed it to me the other day, and I was like, "Oh, pretty interesting." I downloaded that.
Yeah, I think I might have like seen that like a while ago.
But it's a game with stars.
Well, it's not necessarily a game. It's just like you can make your own music with it, and like the more, say, drops you put down, the beat changes, and it has a specific tempo depending on what you're doing with it.
Oh, so like it's a monami.
Yeah, but
Like
it's
almost like a step sequencer.
yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
I mean, like, you remember those? I think there's that iPhone app that you use with all those little blocks on it. And
Yeah,
each one of them
that's a
have their-
monami. That's
Yeah. But the thing is that it's inherently different from that. It's more of like instead of like only having like these set things and everything like that, you can put them in different. You can put all these things in different areas, and then just create music. If you look at, say, I remember DeviantArt used to have these like update flashes, where you could say add the drums and then remove the guitar and things like that, where you sort of you can add different types of vines and add them anywhere on the screen, even right up next to the star that's now dropping out this water. And then it actually allows you to play a bit on it. I can't remember what the name is now.
Oh, also, what was that one website called? Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna look it up. It was the same kind of thing, but it's like where you create your own like little guy beatbox. Incredibox, that's what it's called.
Incredibox.
Incredibox, yeah. It's
I
like,
think I've heard of it. I think I've seen it.
it's just like you add like these little guys that keep adding on little beatbox like rhythm. You build this whole song out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's really actually pretty good, well designed. I think this site like it was featured somewhere on like 9gag or whatever, and it like broke the site with all the traffic it got.
Yeah. Speaking about games, actually, and like apps and things like that came out, who actually misses Newgrounds?
No.
Kind of. A Congregate is the Newgrounds.
I mean, like the thing is that like I mean, when it comes to Newgrounds and things like that, if you look at, I mean, I recently watched Markiplier playing these games that immediately came off of, because he's doing a series based on them, like all of these games based off of Newgrounds, and like the Newgrounds systems. And I mean, like, like the people who created Super Meat Boy, and when Super Meat Boy became really, really big, like they created a different game that came out, which happened to be this little like round thing that would throw up. And had to, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what it is. But Ed McMullen, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He does he has a ton of games. Like, yeah, it was Super Meat Boy. There's The Binding of Isaac, and before that, there's all the stuff in the Basement Collection, like like that one Spider game and Time Fuck and Ish and all that stuff.
Time Fuck.
Well, Time FCK F like K FCUK. That's obviously just Time Fuck. He had a ton of games, and I'm still waiting for Mugenics. That looks good.
Okay.
It's marketed as a crazy cat lady simulator.
Huh.
And then also on Newgrounds there were the Behemoth, the guys who made like Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater, and they initially started with what was it? Alien Hominid. That was the thing they started with.
It almost sounded like you said Alien Muhammad.
Alien Hominid.
But I'm pretty sure that Alien Muhammad is probably somewhere in there.
I don't want to start. I don't want to Je suis Charlie up my house.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the thing is that, and what I found very, very interesting is that, like, I mean, and what Markiplier does is he keeps on talking and he gets these games from game jams. And that's an amazing sort of way to actually, like, really build out a game. I mean, like, he's recently started playing a game that he played ages back, Late Night at the Office or something like that, where he gets hyper pissed off with it. But the thing is that, like, the original, it was the demo that somebody had made, I think was probably at a game jam or at some sort of horror like thing, and these people, like, literally you get a whole bunch of programmers together, you get 6 days, you finish a game and you submit it.
Yeah, I know, there's a lot of things. I love it. I've never been to one.
Scratch, I mean, I know that you're starting with a company that is actually trying to get into games and gaming company and things like that.
They have
Hey?
They have a few games out, or 1 or 2 games out.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, the thing is that, like, I mean, getting involved in that would probably be one of the biggest things that you guys could do.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, being able to maybe toss in a little bit of Furry in there somewhere along the lines.
They do. I think, I'm not sure if they do it so much these days, but in the beginning, like, a lot of game design studios or game design people get their start, or at least like an idea of what the process is like by doing global game jams or Ludum Dares. There's a lot of stuff that pops out there that eventually becomes something like decently marketable, decently like it would be an awesome fleshed out product.
Yeah. And I mean that's exactly how people start. I mean, like, if you can get other people interested in it, then I mean easily you can start making like enough funding to both fund your own life while doing this, as well as actually create that game. I mean, like, recently they've been speaking of, there was this game, something China, I don't know, I keep forgetting what the damn thing is. I know that Hargan was talking about it at one point. I think it's semi-RPG based. No idea.
Okay.
But I mean, as soon as you've got a trailer out for something, then you immediately start drumming up a little bit of interest, and then if people are really interested in what's going on, then you'll easily start making that kind of money.
Yeah.
I mean, consider, and again, I keep on mentioning this practically every single podcast, but JasonFX.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, JasonFX is busy doing his dating simulator. And I mean, he's, like I said, I mean, he's asking $50 for a donation. And that is a ton of money for some people. I mean, it's a ton of money for everybody.
Oh, it's the price of a retail game.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, like, yeah, if you only just give 1 month, then you're pretty much set to, like, hopefully get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw FNAF3 is coming out.
Oh fuck!
I
Really?
didn't even know they made they're making a third one.
Dude, the guy who makes that stuff, A, made a crap ton of money, or like at least got a crap ton of publicity for his game, so I don't see why it would stop. And B, what was the other one I wanted to say? Oh yeah, he produces it so quickly. I mean, the tools are right there. I mean, he does a little bit of modeling and a few like stills, so that's about it.
Yeah. But it's now becoming a little bit. I don't know.
What's this now?
Five
Nights at Freddy's 3.
Yeah, there's number 3 coming out apparently.
Yeah, well, maybe number 3. Well, look, I mean, hopefully it's just a 3-thing series, but I mean, if there's so much.
Hopefully it ends there and then everybody dies and then that's it. Okay, sorry, bye.
But what about the chronology? What about the story?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Hopefully it ends there and then everybody dies and that's how the story ends. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's always the best story. That's the way to go.
Look, at the end of the day,
heroes.
it's look. I mean, it's a try-hard game.
How do you mean try-hard game?
I mean, playing Five Nights at Freddy is kind of like playing something like Temple Run.
In what sense?
In that you need to have a specific set of how to play. You need to know how to play that game.
I didn't freaking Google anything when I played FNAF.
Yeah, but the thing is that you start building up a specific pattern.
Yes.
You're able to do that. And as soon as you build up that pattern, you're able to beat the game. But the thing is that pattern is so difficult to keep up, especially if you're doing it for like 20 to 30 minutes on end. It becomes a very, very difficult, like, sort of challenge.
No, well.
And I mean, in as much as, say, something like Temple Run, or I remember that, again, going back to a Markiplier video that I saw, he was playing this, like, Roof Run. And he was talking about like how it was a very, very good game and that the storyline was interesting. Or there was no storyline. You're just literally a James Bond-esque character jumping from roof to roof.
Oh, wasn't it?
Everything.
Is that the grey one, Cannibal?
Yes, cat. Yes.
This is the worst game that I'm gonna tell you guys now about, and it's so bad that it's so bad because it can be so good. Have you guys heard about a game called Chaos Domain? It's basically a Contra shooter, right? Built in the new Unreal Engine. Okay. Also 2D side-scrolling. It works just like Contra, and you can also shoot just in those 8 directions, right? So it's like up, side, a little bit sideways up to the front, a little bit sideways down. That type of directions that was on these key buttons. And guess who they made the character? Anubis. Guess what? Right?
Yeah.
It has no storyline. It's in space. There's absolutely nothing. It is just this game where you run and you shoot. There is nothing.
Jump and shoot, man.
Jump and shoot, man.
So they called it Chaos Domain, and they made it a Nubian jackal that picks up like little unks for health, and that's it. I'm like, they could have at least made it like a little bit better.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about like what people choose to do with their games.
Yeah, but that one actually got like a bad review because of that. Because they say
that still isn't the worst game ever. We all know that the worst game ever is the game that they made for ET.
Sonic Boom.
The what? What did you say was the one? The worst game ever?
No, the one for ET.
Okay, I didn't hear.
Oh, E.T.
The ET game that came out for the movie back in the 1980s. It almost single-handedly destroyed the gaming industry.
Yeah, the E.T. for the Atari
Yes.
2600.
I don't know about it.
Oh, do you not?
No.
Okay, basically the same thing happened way back when in the... Okay, pardon
Dude,
me,
it was so bad.
I'm going off on my game design tangent here. Bear with me.
Hmm?
Yeah, basically the same thing happened back in the 80s that's happening now. People are producing garbage, and the video gaming market is becoming oversaturated. So, basically what happened in there is, for a long time the games on stuff like the ColecoVision and the Atari 2600 were just like slowly but surely becoming worse and worse quality because people are just trying to pump it out and ride this new exciting video game market, right?
Alright, sounds like today.
Basically, but now what happened then is everything was still way too expensive for like people to just afford new games. You could maybe like afford one game for Christmas and maybe if you're lucky one on your birthday. And then what ended up happening is people got so like ridiculously annoyed with the horrible quality of this ET game for the Atari 2600 that basically everyone just like stopped buying video games. That was the nail in the coffin for the video game industry. And basically the people who made the game just decided, you know, fuck it, we're going to push it into a landfill. Every single copy that we didn't sell. And they recently dug up that landfill, and a lot of those things are available for like $1,000 each.
Oh, that's one way to make money off of a failure.
Yeah, copies of the game that almost destroyed the games industry.
I won't buy it.
I would. It's a piece of gaming history.
Something that Buglish actually said right now, I'm not sure if this is female or male. I'm sorry if I'm going to call you male and you're actually female. But we all know that there are no females on the internet.
Yeah, no go.
He says that whatever crap the indie industry brings out, the AAA industry will still continue without the industry crashing like ET did it. Oh, it's Zanduin. Okay.
I'm not sure. I think okay. The AAA industry is slowly but surely learning that it can't push out like these horrible shovelware games anymore because it like more and more just the smaller indie games that are weirder or take risks or are like just deeper in their simplicity than all the gloss and polish that you can put on a AAA game. It's wiping the floor with it. I mean, they still sell their few million copies, but I mean, the return on investment on most of these indie games that become viral from a Let's Player playing it or like word of mouth, like Notch got Minecraft, is completely insane. And I think it would be stupid for the AAA industry to not just like sit up and take notice that, you know what, there is still a market for the horror genre of games. You know what? Our game doesn't need all this polish. Let's focus on just making it a solid, like, engaging experience.
I always say when you build a game that is going to be an unrealistic shooter, right? If you build a realistic shooter, okay, focus more Medal of Honor. You don't see blood and crap splattering all over the walls. you know how it looks, right? If you build a unrealistic shooter, the person that's going to play the game needs to be able to basically destroy everything. His actions needs to have huge effects on the environment.
Serious Sam or Painkiller style.
Exactly. Like if he shoots, stuff needs to blow up.
Yeah. Stuff needs to blow up like big ways.
It just defines the two type of games. So in Call of Duty, then you can have in-betweens, but people are missing that. Like I always say, if you're not the direct cause of like the maps, the environment actually changing around you, then a game becomes dull and boring very easily. Unless it's a serious game that should be taken seriously, like something like the old Medal of Honor. Do you guys remember that it was actual historic events?
But hell,
but it was the same thing with Call of Duty 1 and Call of Duty 2.
Hell, 3 and 5 as well.
Yeah, but Call of Duty is like a little bit over the top.
No, but the thing is that when they started out in Call of Duty 1 and 2, you were looking at, I mean, especially Call of Duty 2, if I can remember properly. It was either that or 1. But 1 literally followed, if you know your World War II history, Call of Duty 1 and 2 followed the exact steps of specific platoons during those times.
Except
they
for
weren't
the
over
one guy that's gonna kill 10,000 soldiers and so on.
Yes, but the thing is that that's the only way that they can make it realistic-ish. I mean, the thing is that they followed their storylines. Literally, like, I think Call of Duty 1 was a Band of Brothers, like, rip-off. You went in the same way that the 101st Airborne went through Germany. And do note that the people that lived,
I'm not arguing or anything.
the ones that lived from 1944 all the way to 1945, when they finally took Berlin, those people probably did kill up to about maybe 100 to 200 to 300 different soldiers.
Look, I'm not arguing with you or anything. I was just referring to Medal of Honor. I mean, but what I mean is that's if you want to build an unrealistic shooter, the map needs to be able to break. If you build, or not the map, but stuff needs to blow up, and you need to see the effects that the character, your player, has on the environment. If you're building a more realistic type of game, these things need to go down. But
yeah,
you can always create a balanced game in between it.
And you know what? I mean, when we're talking about like hyper-realistic games versus games that don't need all this like polish and things like that, I mean, consider there were a couple of games like Dear Esther, which was literally just, it wasn't even storyline driven. You walked through a storyline. It had nothing else to it. Yeah. But it was so amazing that you were so drawn into your character, listening to these little blurbs that he had the entire time. That made it so much. It was engaging on a level that games aren't engaging on anymore, or at least most games. I mean, recently there was another game called Presentable Liberty, which also came out, which you do nothing but play little games that are given to you and read letters.
I think in the same tangent you could also try The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, but here's another problem with realistic versus unrealistic. Only the enthusiast likes realistic, while the unrealistic is liked by the general population a little bit more. Let me explain. Flying games, Flight Simulator, that's a realistic game, right? Hawks, not realistic at all. Everybody likes it.
I wouldn't call it that, but yeah, let's go on. I think
what about your sports games enthusiast?
Sports games enthusiast is another thing than a sports enthusiast.
Yeah, but I'm a sports enthusiast as well as a sports games enthusiast. If I could, I would buy Donald Bradman, but then again, I don't want to because I've seen how terrible the game is.
Sports games just actually never can be 100% realistic, mainly due to the way they move.
In the same the same thing about frickin' driving games.
Yeah.
Any other game or flight. I mean,
have you noticed that the more realistic they make driving games, the less people really want to play it. Like the only one that really got well off the ground was something like Gran Turismo.
No, do you want to know a bad game that they tried to overly make realistic and then they actually made it completely like unrealistic? Need for Speed Shift. You can remember that?
Yeah, I remember it, but I didn't play it. I stopped after like Most Wanted.
It's like it was so realistic. It wasn't an arcade driving thing like Most Wanted anymore. It was so realistic, but it was so over the top, ridiculous with the handling that you can't go around a turn.
You go around a turn and your car suddenly is on soap.
Soap or something.
Literally, you try to go around that corner at like 20 miles per hour or whatever. You're like really like trying, and you're driving it like a real car. You're sitting there going like, the computer cars are way far ahead of you. Here you are making this tiny ass turn because you're afraid that your back end is just going to slip out.
But the reason. Sorry, Scratch?
Also, the shit thing about those things is you need one of like a wheel or a joystick or something because it's
No. You play that with a steering wheel.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
even with a steering wheel, it's unrealistic.
Yeah, but with the steering wheel, at least you can like toggle how much you turn, as opposed to
Yes.
turn now, stop.
Because
turn.
that is the difference. Remember, Ivic, when, like for example, Need for Speed Shift, if you yank the little what do you call it, the knob thingy, left or right, or you press left or right, that is equivalent to you turning your steering wheel entirely.
Yes. I know.
One.
Believe me, one of the things that I used to do while playing those games was I would furiously tap the button.
Yeah, like when you play with a keyboard, you tap it like that. That's how you played the old Need for Speeds as well.
The worst thing is that, like, especially with something like Need for Speed Underground 2 and 1, you could still win a game by crashing into every single wall.
Yeah, but that's an arcade game.
Yeah.
It's actually arcade racing, even though it has no nitros and all these things, and you can modify your car. That all came from the concept that Juiced tried to pull off the first time. And
we have
Midnight something. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have a question from Baron the Dragon.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most important part of games?
Art.
Okay. Is it?
Art from you?
Artistic style.
Okay.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Okay. Ivic?
No, you go, Scotch.
Oh no, it's gonna take a while.
Okay. Well, the thing is that, like, and remember, you are asking just for the most important thing, so you can't necessarily put in all three of this or that or the other thing. I think that, for me, and it's one of the things that, like, when Markiplier plays games, and you can definitely tell when he gets into games, but, like, that's beyond the point. When I play games, I can actually forego the entire idea of, how badly the game has been put together or how glitchy it is here or there, if the storyline is as intriguing as it possibly can be. If it sucks me into the game without me realizing that I'm going to be playing for the next 4 to 5 hours just to find out what the next plot point is, that's something that's very important for me. But then again, I am mostly an RPG player.
Can I rephrase my thing, because actually what I just mentioned is eye candy, and actually I'm not for that. But I would agree, if it's fun, if it can make a game fun, if a game is actually physically fun to play, it can have very low graphics, or it can look ridiculously crappy, but I can almost guarantee that it won't be fun. But if it's actually a fun game to play, it needs that fun factor. If it doesn't have that fun factor, then it's gonna...
But then you obviously question other things about the fun factor, though, because, I mean, the thing is that
what will make it the most fun, instead of what is the most important part of games? Can I rather answer? What makes a game the most fun, or fun to play, is probably the most important part of games. And then I won't actually agree entirely with storyline, because you can make a very complex and deep storyline.
It's not about being complex either. It's just about being able to get your player to be immersed in the universe that you've thrust them into.
Can I actually say that instead of eye candy, but even though I'm very much for people trying to be original with stuff like Valve and Half-Life. I mean, Half-Life 2, it's a really original environment. You don't get anything like that in any other game. Fear is just warehouses. It's like stupid. That's crappy architecture art thingies in the game, and that's crap level design actually. But
if it fits the theme of the game, it's excusable, definitely. But I mean,
yeah.
It depends. You can only go through so many generic hallways before you start thinking, well, eh.
But I would actually reconsider my question. I would actually say it's the way. The most important part is actually if the player can actually interact with the character and the controller so well that he would live himself into it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
Immersion is what you're talking about.
Immersion, right?
Look at the immersion from Fallout 3.
Oh, I
The
fucking
very first bit of immersion from Fallout 3. The same thing with, even though I don't play it, Bioshock.
But like, the thing is, Fallout 3 is just like, it's I don't know. The first time you step out of the vault, spoiler alert, first time you step out of the vault and like look out upon this like enormous wasteland that you have yet to discover, and you look at the map and it's like, oh, I just like uncovered 1% of it. Let's see what's that way. You pick one of an infinite number of directions. That's awesome. I mean, a lot of people will find different. I mean, fun is different things to different people.
Exactly.
No.
I mean, for me, I personally like when a game is like well themed. Obviously, if there's sort of motivation for you to continue doing what you're doing and continue playing the way you're playing, that's awesome.
If you want to see what happens next.
Yeah, and a good storyline driven game is also fantastic. But what's his name? Another thing I actually like is replayability. I mean,
That's what I was also gonna say. Yeah.
yeah, I can only play like heavily story-driven games once. I mean, Transistor, for as beautiful as it is, and Supergiant Games, they make art, not games. I mean, seriously, love the soundtrack, love the art, love like the way the game played, but I wouldn't play it again because like storyline's done. I've completed that chapter. The soundtrack was stuck in my head for weeks, but I constantly keep going back to stuff like The Binding of Isaac or Risk of Rain.
Yeah.
The Binding of Isaac, I think I've clocked like a cumulative 400 hours or something.
Sure.
What?
Dude, that game, you can play that game on an infinite loop, literally. I mean, Griff and them, they have a PlayStation 4 in their house, and Binding of Isaac was a free game. Between the four of them, I think 3 of them play constantly.
Yeah, no, I think a game with me that would build up that many hours is some city building simulator.
Yeah, but again, like we are talking about like different strokes for different folks here. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of
Scratch
people
likes the idea of replayability.
Other people want competition. Other people want cooperation. Other people want like mastery.
Yeah, well, but it depends. But I would say actually a little bit of everything is always fun, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that stands out is probably the one thing that is the most in every per individual. So it is a concept.
But see, that's why Minecraft is so good, because it fulfills a lot of those things.
Except story.
No, you can make up your own
You can
story.
create your own story.
But that is not what you want. Well, it depends on how you look at it.
Also, there's also adventure mode.
It's not really cinematics and it's not really eye candy. If you tell me Minecraft looks good, right? I'm gonna...
Minecraft can look good.
You have the spectacle of like climbing over a hill and seeing this like vast mountain range that you want to scale, or like you discovered the perfect place to make your
all in
secret moon base, whatever,
without billionaire or trillionaire filtering.
Okay, fine. It's hard to please some people.
I understand that it looks like wow, how fucking long did that guy build like that Starship Enterprise with mining it out. But that just to me it looks like wow, another person that has absolutely nothing to do.
Well, not necessarily. Sometimes, because you can, to build those things, these people can actually only they take up to say, sometimes even like 1 to 2 hours to build what they need. Because the thing is that there are mods out there that allow you to immediately already put in an outline or
I understand.
and patterns and things like that.
Or scan like a Maya 3D file. And
I saw that the Xbox Connect, right? You can scan yourself or scan anything with it. And then it ports it into Minecraft and it builds it. But like really crappy. It's not perfect.
I've seen the opposite. I've seen someone take like something that was created in Minecraft and then like
printing it on a 3D print.
Yes, exactly. Which is awesome. I'm sorry to say. We have another question. Cough button.
Would you like a game more?
I thought I pressed it. I must have pressed it while coughing.
Would you like a game more if it supports Oculus Rift?
Not necessarily.
It depends on what game it is. If it's something where there's going to be 3D interaction and stuff, yes.
Which is most things.
My issue with something.
Yeah, but imagine a side scroller, Oculus Rift.
Well, I don't think the Oculus Rift is like disruptive technology enough yet to actually warrant that.
Like, the other issue is that a lot of people tend to, and especially if it's hyper-realistic games, I mean, the odds that people are going to get sick by playing these games is very, very high.
Yeah, I had one on for like a few minutes playing something, and I started getting queasy from like the disconnect between the motion that you're seeing and the motion you're not feeling.
You got queasy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Or queasy, uneasy, whatever you want to call it. It's that weird feeling in the pit of your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking. No, because we have the simulator that supports the Oculus Rift, that thing with the rides, with the roller coasters. It's going to be amazing. But
yeah, of course for you, but there is a game out there now for the Oculus Rift for that specific purpose. Check out Jacksepticeye's channel. He's actually got a whole bunch of
but is it
that he rides on.
like the realistic No Limits?
It's an attempt at realism. Sometimes they don't necessarily get it right, like tracks like disappearing and then they're not aligned, and then suddenly that it jumps into the next one.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But no, but that's one thing. But one thing that I do notice is I actually want to ask people about this, and I always wonder why. Everybody that sits here plays a little bit of games, and to one of us a lot of games.
And some of us none at all. Ivic apparently.
Like, sorry, dude, it just happened.
I know a lot of people get queasy when just watching like a screen and playing a game. Yeah. And my brother is one of them. He can play like a racing game, but he can't play a first-person shooter. He says that he gets like sick because of the way the character moves.
I can completely understand that.
I can understand that as well. Now, all three of us have played racing games, right?
Yes.
Moderate amounts.
Yeah, moderate amounts here favorites. Too. Have any of you? I used to play racing games from a young age. I was playing Nigel Mansell's Grand Prix from 1991 when I first got it on the SNES back in 1994. The one thing that I always used to do while playing racing games was lean from side to side whenever I'm going into it.
I know a lot of people that does that. I'm like a rock when I play it.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, like, did you ever play racing games when you were much, much younger?
Yep.
Were you also like a rock then?
And yes, NES, also the Grand Prix game, right?
Yeah.
And other games that are not really racing games, but like Road Fighter and those type of things. Mm-hmm. And after that, DOS, Stunts, all those racing games, I played all of them, and I can almost guarantee you that even back then I would have laughed at people like going like side to side.
I do it all the time. I still do it every now and again, especially when I've gotten annoyed with the game. Because I mean, if you look at some of the hyper-realistic racing games, like the thing is that when I play sports games, I play sports games because I'm pissed off. And the thing is that you don't need to pay a lot of attention when you're playing it on easy. So literally, I would sit down. I would play a sports game for like 2 or 3 hours because A, I've got nothing better to do, and B, I just want to win.
Now play a sports game on a harder level when you're pissed off and check what happens.
I will throw the controller.
Exactly.
Will go through a fucking window.
Because then you get frustrated because you're losing. Yeah, no. I used to play. I don't play a lot of games. My Steam account, is 5? But not 5 games, 5 points. But
I think that's true. Your Steam rating changes.
For me to download games is a bit of a difficult thing. I mean, we've spoken about that before as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there are some cool things I think coming.
So long as I can buy the CD and not have to download anything.
As Scratch mentions, these developers are actually kind of realizing what's happening with the industry at the moment. So we might actually be seeing some more creative things. I have the beta version for Unreal Tournament 4.
Nice.
But the maps, you know what? I'm not impressed yet, right? Because it's not just Unreal Tournaments 3. Right? The mechanics is almost exactly the same. There are some extra things, and it's all running now with this crazy ass high high-tech performance engine, which requires, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it, the minimum requirements for that game is probably going to be a 750 GTX. The minimum.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm going to get a 560.
Because even without static meshes or anything like that in the maps, it's starting to lag.
Sometimes, yeah, wow.
So I don't know if it's just because it's now the beta and this, but it just shows how much resources that freaking engine takes.
I'm waiting for another Elysian Tale.
Oh.
I'm done waiting. You know what came out yesterday?
What?
I'm done waiting because you know what came out yesterday?
What?
The remastered version of Grim Fandango.
Oh yeah, you keep on mentioning this and I keep on forgetting to search for it.
It's good! Well, I haven't played it yet, but Grim Fandango is good.
Let me search for it. Because you keep on mentioning it, but every time when I'm in front of a PC, I just forget it.
Grim Fandango is...
But does it still look as blocky?
A little bit. I mean, they remastered it a little bit, but it's not like earth-shatteringly different from the first one. But I still love that game for the storyline. I love it for like the sort of the characters, the simplicity of the gameplay,
and the nostalgia.
And the nostalgia. The soundtrack is incredible. The art design is fantastic. There are so many things I loved about that game. It's like a point and click whodunit set in the land of the dead. What's not to like?
Yeah, but is it this time? Is it actually gonna be 3D, or is it gonna be like the old one that is just artwork and then just the character I think was 3D?
I'm unsure.
You know, like Resident Evil.
I'm unsure. I think they might keep it like as close as possible to the old one, but I think they might have at least gone back and changed the backdrops to like actual 3D environments. But it's not like you have a free rotating camera for you to notice anyway.
Yeah, but normally if it's the free rotating camera that will do that, that will require that. Or even sometimes just moving from side to side. You remember the first game that had like that 3D scene? That I was kind of, why did they actually make it 3D? It's the first Grand Theft Auto, and the second one actually. Why did they make it 3D? I mean, you're just looking from the top and anyways.
It had a Y-axis, but yeah.
No, it didn't. Not the first one.
It did.
You cannot do... No, the cars were actually flat, right? It's just the buildings. I'm not talking about Liberty City.
No, I'm not stupid. I know what the second GTA looked like, but you had a Z-axis where you could like walk upstairs and like around on top of buildings.
Okay, but that's maybe the second one. But the first one had like, it was just the top and it was just looking north. Can you guys remember that?
Yeah,
I never played GTA 1.
Oh, that is like the funnest game ever. I didn't even like that. Okay, the third one was actually cool, Liberty City. And probably 5 is like crazy high quality. But I enjoyed the first one the most. I was still in primary school when I played that, and it was awesome and funny.
San Andreas was still my favorite.
Buglish just answered your thing. GTA 1-2 was from the top because system or memory limitations.
Yeah, that's what the company could do at one point. I think the second one was just like more of the same because that's what they knew how to do. But yeah, the first one was more just sort of system limitations.
Yeah, no, we know that. I mean, it's a large city. But what I was asking is, why was it actually like the buildings were actually 3D? Or maybe it's just to add to the effect. I mean, it looks better when it's like
texturing at its best at the time.
Yeah, I mean, what about Duke Nukem 3D? That was that was like.
Yeah, but Duke Nukem is a first-person shooter, so you need a 3D environment.
It's the same thing with Wolf 3D.
Yeah, and Doom.
Yeah.
Doom 1 and Quake.
Still remember playing Quake against people on like crappy PCs.
Who ever played Quake 2?
Yeah.
I think I might have.
I played it, and you know what I miss about that game? The way if you shoot it with the BFG, that everything just splatters.
Well, I mean, that brings us back to your original point, that if you're going to create an unrealistic shooter, things have to splatter.
The things have to blow up. You have to affect the environment dramatically. And
Like, I mean, if you can shoot through a wall, you can probably like rip a person to shreds.
and that was that time, Quake's time, and before Quake, Wolfenstein, Duke Nukem 3D, and then before that even Doom 1. That was the time where stuff had to blow up.
If anyone wants to see like fucking splatter, like the biggest force I've seen enacted upon you by a weapon in a video game,
Accordion 1.
No, go look for a weapon called the Marv, the MARV, in Fallout 3. Find it.
Yeah.
Quick save it and point it at the ground. It shoots 7 mini nukes and it fires your corpse so far up into the air that you can see every single corner of the enormous map you just spent 4 weeks discovering.
Wow.
It's worse than the Skyrim giants.
Oh, but Skyrim giants are always fun.
No, but it's worse in the sense of that it boots you even further.
Yeah. But then again, the Skyrim map, I think, is possibly larger than the Fallout 3 map.
Quite possibly, but
One
they keep the bugs in, I know it.
One thing that I really want to see, I don't know if it was during the podcast or before the podcast or after the podcast that you mentioned the scratch, was that apparently there was a mod for Unreal Tournament 3 that when you shoot with the Redeemer, that it is Nyan Cat.
Yeah, I mentioned that over the weekend. Yeah, just Google it. It's a video that like pops up every now and then.
I'm gonna install the game and actually get that mod. I want to do it. Shoot Nyan Cats. But the Redeemer is just like a one-shot thing.
Yeah.
Back to furries. One of the most interesting mods to Quake 3 Arena was always the furry skin mods. You had the foxes and the wolves and the huskies. I love that. That would be the only character that I would play throughout the entire game. Like at every single LAN, I had to have that mod and I had to play it like that. Nothing would stop me.
If we ever got that far, I mean, yeah, I didn't really do a ton of LANs playing Quake. It was only later games, really.
I did it. Got my ass handed to me, and then we actually recently somebody installed. Okay, not recently, about 2 years ago, somebody installed Quake 3 on one of the servers where I used to work in Johannesburg, and then they said let's play, and there was 2 guys there that played it like way too much, right? And they just kicked our ass. This one guy had more hours that he spent on Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, than there is in a year.
Holy crap.
Right? So they were like real hardcore freaking gamers. Anyways, they just ripped us to shreds, but it got like that point where we actually had to make 2 servers because it's not fun playing against people that is that good. And we had the beginner.
No scoop.
We had the beginner server and then this server. In the beginner server, it's like freaking me, Vaynant, and Dave McLaren. We're like all freaking confused where we are.
One of my like I still remember watching a video of like possibly one of the best Quake players around. Just doing rocket jumps from one point to the next point. The guy literally he was in the air for pretty much a kill spree of about 15.
Dude, you should see what Team Fortress players can do with soldiers rocket jumping.
That's the reason why I've stayed so far away from that game, because I'm just going to be a noob again.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Everyone sucks at some point. And demos are a little less face roll these days.
Well, let's see. There's new things that you can do with the weapons in Unreal Tournaments 4. There's the spider web thing that is pretty crazy. You use the bio rifle, shoot secondary fire, and splatters all across the walls on a hallway. And then you use the link gun, and if you shoot one of them, it will create a web between all the blobs. That is like one of the new things that's coming out. But you can
Imagine what that might look like.
Yeah, but you can still shoot. If you shoot the blobs, then they go away.
Oh.
So it's just for traps and whatnot. So it could be fun for arena shooter. Most people today don't understand arena shooter.
Yeah.
Especially especially at a certain age. Those were actually like the first shooters because you couldn't make a realistic game back then. So everything was just like arena based.
Any case, we're running short on time.
Oh, we have 10 minutes left.
Meh.
Well, I think we can wrap this up, I'll be honest.
Yeah, because we've been talking about games now for about an hour.
Yeah. Buglish and Baron the Dragon, as well as Eli, who joined us for a while and then disappeared. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. I know that this one wasn't much on furry content, but I mean, like, you know, sometimes we talk about random things, and it's actually not bad.
Well, we'll step it up a little bit, I think, on Sunday.
Yeah.
One of the things that we are probably going to be doing, those of you who actually listen to our YouTube thing to the complete end, we'd like to say that we're probably going to cut down on the Wednesdays, on the Wednesday podcasts. I'll ensure that goes down on Facebook and on the South-Afrifur site.
And I'll put on if anyone follows. Yeah.
If we get a Wednesday guest, then we'll do a Wednesday show. But if we don't have a Wednesday guest, then we won't.
Yeah.
All right. Again, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate your support. And yeah, if you haven't found our Facebook site yet, we are South-Afrifur. Could somebody just pop that link? Wait, hold on. No, I don't have it. Our YouTube channel is here. Somebody could find the Facebook link. Hold on, let me just...
I'm finding it.
I'll pop the Twitter.
Facebook.
If anyone can see chat.
Oh, I have a surprise for you guys.
What?
Like the two of you, I've actually got a surprise for you guys.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I posted, but it's not showing.
I'll as soon. What?
I'm trying to post.
There it goes.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Twice.
Why? Okay.
Cool.
Alright. So if you haven't liked us yet on Facebook, please do. Like us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're actually uploading all our videos up there now, finally. If you haven't listened to any of our stuff, you can still listen to our MixLR stuff here. Popping that out. And again, thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
From Ivic. So yeah.
So yeah.
So, cheers, guys.
Bye.